Hello everyone, welcome to the final week here of the regular season in Reddit League. My name is Atomo and I'm joined as always by Calamity. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this one because we have a Division 2 matchup, and Division 2 is probably the least set in stone division of Division 1, 2, and 3. Pretty much all the relegation spots and all the promotion spots are up for grabs this week. And we have a top of the table matchup and a bottom of the table with Chicago and Radox. Calamity.
Yeah, looking at their stats, I actually think the average point is very interesting because they're just 700 points apart, despite being 14 points apart in the table. Um, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a combination of both Chicago being a bit lower than his position should be and Radox maybe being a bit higher, but they're a lot closer than you'd expect normally. In terms of aces, the gap is a lot bigger, obviously. 22 for Chicago and 10 for Radox. And, well, the most damning thing is the position in the table. Chicago still a lot to fight for. Currently in second place going into the last week, and a win guarantees him his place in the automatic promotion spot and going back up to Division 1, where he was relegated from last season. Whereas Radox has nothing to fight for. He's got no chance of advancing out of the relegation playoff spots, and he's also safe from the people behind him. So he's probably not going to help anyone who wants Chicago or who would benefit from Chicago losing.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just a matter of can Radox finish the season with a bit of style here and at least put up a good showing against a much higher ranked opponent. Yeah, Radox doesn't always have the best of luck in Reddit League. His scores aren't terribly bad, but just getting those wins in Division 2 has always proved a bit tricky for him here. And yeah, the map is not going to make it much easier. We are in Kenya this week. Author Amazing Keller, average score 16,347. Has over 10,000 locations and has by now been played a lot more than 111 times. Yeah, a cheeky little description here by the author. Kenya get a good score? Maybe. Definitely not a misnomer either, though. Kenya can be quite the tricky map, Calamity.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one in that your locations, it's kind of like a 50% chance your location is going to be super easy. Then there's a 40% chance it's going to be super hard, and a 10% chance is anything in between. Most of the times, the location, if you're in a city, finding out which city you're in is fairly straightforward. And there's a lot of stores, for example, that have the address on them. There's a lot of other things that tell you where you are. And if you're in a rural location, it can be quite hard to find any decent signs at all. Generally, if the thing you most likely find in rural areas are things that tell you the county you're in. But even then, it can sometimes be really hard to pinpoint because Kenya does have quite extensive coverage going down even some of the smaller roads. And it can be super hard to figure out where exactly you are in relation to, some of the bigger cities you see on signs. Because a lot of the time, you do find signs saying insert random city in Kenya here is somewhere close to you, but you can't really be sure in which direction or how far away exactly you are. You can be 5 kilometers away, you can be 20 kilometers away. So it can be quite tough.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. And not to mention, Kenya is one of those countries that has lots of national park coverage. So car medic could come into play here, depending on the seed for this one. Yeah, well, with that, let us jump into round number 1. And I didn't mute Radox, I muted Chicago.
Muted the wrong one.
There we go. And yeah, at least off the start here, Calamity, a nice town. So if you are correct, we should have a pretty nice time with the location. And Chicago already zooming in on Mombasa.
Yeah, there was a sign straight away at the start that told you you're in Mombasa. I don't remember. That's the one, by the way. Chicago's looking at here. I don't remember if it does say the street name on it. I can't see it. It's a bit too small
No,
for me.
it has a PO box
Oh,
address
that's
on
it.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, unfortunately, no road, but it could be a point of interest, a
Yep.
repair
Already
shop, and
found
sure
it.
enough, it is. And he'll get an ace on that one. Redox did travel a bit, but he does know the town, or rather the city, the nice big city here, and he will be looking to try to find a road that will match where he might be, as well as pick up that point of interest at the start as well. He's got 2 minutes still. Chicago pretty fast. This probably was an area that popped up quite a bit in practice, given it's the largest city in
Second largest. I mean,
such.
Nairobi is a bit bigger, like 4 times the size in population.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they were that far apart.
Yeah, Nairobi is quite a bit bigger. It has a lot of suburbs as well. Whereas Mombasa is relatively concentrated in the middle. It does have some suburbs, but they're relatively few. And, it's just,
Okay.
you can see there on sort of the northwest from where Radix is, there's a pretty big area where there's suburbs. But apart from that, there's not really much east or west of the main island.
There we go. Ranox finally zooming in to more of a downtown area, hoping that one of these roads does match the direction. He's a little bit north, unfortunately, right now, but still got about a minute to correct that. Trying to find a road name or something that might be helpful.
Yeah, what I've found in Mombasa to be the most helpful are roundabouts. Either roundabouts or obviously water, as I see it there on Radox's screen. That can also just get you a bit closer.
There we go. So if he heads, that's the road. Sure enough, now he's going to work his way back. And did he remember the motor shop at the start? If he hasn't, he should go back to confirm that. Give him a second. I don't know what he's looking at now. But yeah, he did find that roundabout. He did work his way backwards. That's where he should be. But again, checking everything else out to make sure, maybe a little bit less confident. He does know he's playing for quite a bit here, so maybe he is wanting to make sure.
You say he's playing for quite a bit. He's playing for absolutely nothing.
I thought he was, at this moment, he was still.
Nope, guaranteed.
Had a chance to. Okay. So he was in the relegation playoff spots, no matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
I think he might have fallen back to 10th, but that doesn't change a thing for him.
Okay, and yeah, a bit too far down the road towards the end there. Kind of forgetting about where the starting location was in that one. For Radox, 4,987 for him. So we'll drop a few points, 13 to Chicago there in round 1. But then you can already see the difference in that ace ability, Calamity.
Yeah, Radox on the right road there, but just, I don't know, so unsure about it that it didn't even look like he really had anything to go off of where he would place his pin exactly. I don't even remember I don't think he went back to the start at all.
No, he didn't.
So that's an odd thing to do. But I guess, sure.
Yeah, well, as you said, he's not really playing for a whole lot, despite what I thought I was thinking, remembering. So then, yeah, he just said, we're here, and went with that. So let's jump into round number 2 and see if it gets any better. And well, we're at least in a populated area, which gives high hopes for some signs, for sure. Telephone area code, maybe, but I don't know if those are very helpful.
They can be helpful. There's 4 general areas for area codes, but you find them pretty rarely. They're not too, like, the areas are still pretty big. It just sort of gives you a quarter of the country where you are. The only one that can really be useful is 20 for Nairobi, because then you don't have to think about, are we in Nairobi, are we in another big city maybe. Which can sometimes be a bit hard to tell at first glance.
Yeah, and this is going to lead to them traveling quite a bit. Ranox heading on out west. And actually, Chicago jumping back to the start, trying to read a few more of those signs that might be able to help him. Lots of school signs. But there we go. Ras has got a very nice sign. A1. Ericho. Not too far away. Well, we don't know how far away it is. We just know somewhat east.
On the wrong side. There we go. That's the right side. Isumu. That doesn't look like you saw it. It was pretty big on the screen.
No, it doesn't look like it did. Yeah, and then zipped all the way back around. Intersection will help him pinpoint as well. There we go. Maybe he'll see it this time.
Nope.
Nope. Well, third time's a charm, as they say. And Chicago, though, is narrowing in on it himself using some very different signs. I'm not even sure how exactly, but a bit of practice combined with some of these. Oh, there we go. Nyando Division Hero Police Station. So that's pretty helpful. And there, actually, you can see there's a point of interest on your map. Going to be helping him out a lot. Now, I don't think Radox has seen that. He is zoomed into the right town, finally. Third time was the charm, in fact. And he will need to head back to the start with about a minute left. See if he doesn't make that same mistake twice. With under a minute left to go.
You might be looking
pinpointing
for the other small town that's on his sign there.
Pinpointing might be a little bit tough. But Chicago manages to get it nonetheless. That road going north was in fact a road on the map. Some of these countries can be a bit misleading in how accurate their map is, but and there we go. Radox jumping back to the start. Road going north. That's actually the town name right there. Hero on that little shop for the Mormons there. I just saw that now that I know what to look for. And he will... Yes, that's exactly where you should be, Radox. There we go. Slow and steady, but he gets there in the end, and he'll let the time run out, and he'll pick up an ace himself. So still pretty close in this one, Calamity, but two very generous rounds, particularly for Radox here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if there's something more challenging coming up. I mean, it's going to be hard to have less challenging rounds.
Yeah, they've been pretty straightforward for them. Information around. Had to travel a bit to get it, but definitely got it. As we get into round number 3 here, Chicago on a perfect game, but in a country like Kenya, it'd be a bit tricky to get.
Yeah.
Have you done Kenya for your 25K series yet?
Yes, I have. Quite a long time ago, though.
Okay, well, there was a Mombasa concrete on the side of a truck, but we do know that trucks travel, so
yes.
Don't know how reliable that is. Radox did zoom in roughly near that city. There we go. County government of Taita Taveta. There's a county name that you mentioned.
My advice in Kenya, if you see a county name and you've got, like, they have 3 minutes left, look for the county. There are quite a few, but still, it's definitely the first thing you should do.
And sure enough, Chicago manages to find one. Finds that border, and as we must be around here somewhere. Southeast of Nairobi. And he continues out east looking for more help.
Because also the likelihood of you finding more useful information if you're pretty far out there in the middle of nowhere is quite small. And even if you do find it, generally you'll still have to find a county first, as Chicago's already pretty much, well, not right on the spot, but he's at least in the right town.
Yeah. Yeah, the county helps you out with where to look for that small little town name. You don't have to zoom out far, especially with the limited coverage in Kenya. You can search those major roads first, and sure enough, it is on one of those major roads. And Radox, not quite sure which one he is. I think he's actually in the wrong county, so He has all the information he needs on that sign, but yet to even look at those county lines, as Chicago still working on his pinpointing, trying to get exactly where we might be. A bit tricky, not a whole lot to work with. There's a few roads, but are they really roads? No points of interest really along the street to help him that he can read.
This was a pretty awful one for pinpointing. The first 2 rounds were definitely a lot easier in that.
But he will manage to do it, maybe with a bit of luck. Picks up 3 aces in the first 3 rounds. 1,500 points. Radox, on the other hand, still did head back to the start and is now trying to find out something. I don't know what he's looking for. He's got a town name. He's got a county name. He's yet to look for either.
I don't
really
know.
thoroughly on the map.
I don't know what he's doing.
Well, if you want to know what he's doing, you can head over to his channel and watch his video. He does include commentary, so you can listen in on what his thought process was. I believe he's on the wrong road, too, just a bit too far northeast.
Yeah, pretty far away.
He seems like directionality he's happy with, which isn't bad, but definitely not as good as the road below him. And you too, for only $2 a month, can not have to worry about ads and get unlimited GeoGuessr play. Radox's subscription ran out recently and has not renewed, and given how rough this country is, being that far away will cost him almost everything. Only 818 points for him on that round, and man, that was very rough.
Yeah, maybe if he had renewed his membership, he would be a better player.
Yeah, who knows? He would have had plenty of time to practice. He wouldn't have to worry about generating seeds and all of that. He could have just clicked on that play button and got all the practice he could have wanted for just $2 that month. So if you want to get better, definitely recommend paying for it. It's not that much for that one. But yeah, pretty straightforward for Chicago. It took him a little bit, but another ace for that one. As we will set things up here for round number 4. And we'll get into them exactly. And ooh, a very different kind of location. Very green.
Yeah, this is the typical look of Nairobi suburbs. It's not something you'll find anywhere else in Nairobi. Very well forested, but also very small roads, and still pretty decently populated. And the most important thing here for telling you that it is Nairobi is there's loads of signs. Not all of them useful, but lots of them with advertisements for schools, for shops, for everything.
Yeah, and Radox actually seen a sign for Nairobi City County, so that'll help him out for sure.
And this is sort of the thing where I mentioned earlier that having the 20 area code for Nairobi might help you out, because obviously with all of the things I said before, you know, that also tells you you're in Nairobi, but those are things that you might not know. So the area code can definitely help you confirm that for sure.
Indeed, yeah. Lots of signs. And, well, at least right now, Chicago seems a little bit thrown off by that. Not quite sure. Definitely, Radox is the one with at least a sign that said Nairobi on it, which has given him some help. Chicago maybe in a little bit of gaps in his practice here. But they still got just under 2 minutes to go, so let's not write him off completely. There's another P.O. Box address for Radox, confirming he is in fact in Nairobi.
Yep.
Yeah, and Chicago not really sure what to do with this. It seems like a town, but I don't know if he recognizes it as a suburb, at least not yet.
Yeah, it is definitely, if you're not aware of how Nairobi suburbs look, it's not something like the first 2 or 3 times I had it. I definitely didn't think, oh, this is Nairobi. But that's...
Well, there we go. Nairobi City Water. Yeah. That should help him out for sure. There we go. He'll make that adjustment. Now, where in the city are we? That's down to where we might be. And a sign also has a little district maybe on it that seemed to catch Chicago's eye.
Mm.
Yeah, in Africa, you always see plenty of signs for schools.
Yep.
But schools are actually really hard to find on a map, even if you know the general area you're looking in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're too hard to find, but the issue is that sometimes they're not all that close to the signs you find for them.
Mm.
It can be a bit annoying because even if you do find a school, you're not guaranteed to be particularly close. Um, and the other issue is that the school names usually, like you'd expect from Western countries, where the school probably named after the town, after the city, maybe after the district in the city. That's just not true for African countries.
Mm. Yeah, American schools do get named after famous people or historical figures or whatnot, but a majority of them are largely named around their local area, which makes it very nice. My high school was just named the town name high school because it wasn't the biggest town. So definitely. And with time running out for both of them here, neither of them will quite get it. That's a weird place to pause that video. 4,900 points for Chicago, 4,867 for Radox. Both of them guessing in very similar locations, but they were a bit too far south for where they actually needed to be on that one. They did pass near a forest, which might have been kind of obvious looking with hindsight.
Yes.
At Calamity, but
I think Chicago actually guessed pretty much near the forest, but just I think he guessed in the road going through the two forests there, while we were actually on the one west of it.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he on the other side of it, in between the two, rather than on the west end. Yeah, not bad from him there, but unfortunately not quite enough. A bit tricky though. No road names. There are a lot of signs, but no real road names other than the city. So
there were definitely some. I saw some road names on Chicago's screen. Pretty late though. So and I don't know how far he traveled at that point. I didn't remember seeing any on Radox's screen, but I think. No, we'll leave that. We'll see my my view of that match as well. So we'll leave that until then.
Okay, yeah, well, something to look forward to in that one as we jump into our final round here. Chicago sitting at 19,999, Radox 15,672. So not mathematically impossible, but practically impossible. It's quite a big gap to try to come back from in just one round. Chicago has to be even further off than Radox was in his bad round, and not exactly likely to happen.
No, absolutely not, especially with all the palm trees around.
It's obviously a coastal location, so at least limit their range of search area. And yeah, some signs along the road might help as well. There we go. Radox picks up a town name and just almost misses it, but goes back for it. There we go. Kilifi, Kenya. University not too far south of them on the road, but that's probably not where they are, given how sparsely populated the area is. I think Chicago has seen that.
No.
He does know we're along the coast, so. But still 2 minutes left to go. We might be able to see something by then. Heading north now.
And Radox now heading south.
Switching up their directions a bit.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most difficult roads to pinpoint in Kenya because it's quite long and it doesn't have too many curves. And alongside it, there's not really much in the way of buildings or POIs. So it can be quite tough if you want to get a 5K here.
Yeah. Even Radox has got the town name, about all he's got, and he's not even sure he's in where the actual town might start or end. So even that can be a bit tricky. So pretty significant turns to his north, where he currently has the pin, which means he probably should have gone north to check out where that was. He could spot that. But he will move us north. He believes south is a more straighter kind of area. Chicago has his pin a bit further south, I believe, unless he's moved it when I wasn't looking, Calamity.
I was mostly looking at Radox's screen because I just saw he put us in a curve. I find a bit odd considering I'm pretty sure we started on a straight road, which was straight for quite a while in both directions.
Actually, Chicago is not too far off despite not really seeing a name. The road and his judgment of it making up for the fact that he doesn't have any concrete evidence of where he might be, but coast, straight, road, somewhere in here, gonna match. And with a few seconds left, time will run out. He'll move himself a little further north. Maybe not. Nope. They're happy with where they are. They'll let time run out. And 4 points for Chicago. And Radox does pull some points back. Calamity, 4,518. But yeah, a round with only 818 points, you're not going to win anything in Reddit League with that. So
yeah, again, some pretty weird pinpointing at the end there from Radox, but it didn't really matter anymore anyway. It was definitely the round 3, it was, I think, that cost him any chances of getting any points from this game.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. But yeah, Kenya did prove to be quite an interesting map. At least the Division 2 seed wasn't too tricky. A couple of city locations, nothing really way out there, and no national parks. So probably both of our players are a bit happy with that one, that didn't have to tax themselves too much to put up a decent score in this one. Well, yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. We are in our final week, so all these matchups for largely will mean quite a bit for some of these players, like Chicago here. So if you want to watch those all and not miss a single one of them, hit that subscribe and bell button so you can catch all the action as soon as it's up on the channel. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Bye.